Murphy, have you popped in? Not yet? Okay, we'll give another couple of minutes and then we'll get started. Hi, this is Brian. Who just jumped in?
Hey, Brian, it's Manny with Converge.
Hey, Manny. Perfect. How's it going?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome.
Great.
Your Trojans look like they've been coming back to life.
Yeah, we bounced back. Yeah, it was a great game. It was a lot of fun. We were out there, so yeah.
Oh, cool.
Didn't rush the field, but we were there.
Well, they made the BCS a lot easier to get Florida State and Alabama in there if they remain undefeated.
Yeah, they did. So, but
okay,
a lot of
fun.
fun.
Go ahead and get started. I know Brian Murphy's logging in, and we'll probably pick up a couple more people here. So again, thanks everybody. We got for the Endeavor conference call. Essentially, what I wanted to cover here today, we've got the pleasure of having Bill Parker give a presentation. As always, we asked, we're going to take turns giving presentations, because we all obviously do. We all have strengths in our business that we can share with our team members. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through the MSP sales process. We're going to have Bill walk us through that, and I'd like to see if some of the key takeaways, a couple of the key takeaways that you got out of StarCon. I'm going to have Dave mention again the 2014 budget and our ability to help you prepare and plan for your 2014 budget. We have some new webinars that are going to be coming out, and then I'm going to share with you the Q1 meeting date, the live meeting date for the Endeavor team, and then finally the next conference call, which will be to schedule the next conference call, and from somebody on the line, we're going to select someone to present on the next conference call as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Bill here, and Bill, I'm going to give you control. Which PowerPoint would you like me to start off, Bill? The one about the company?
Let's start off with the one on the right.
Okay, so the sales process. Okay, so let me give control to you, and you should be good to go.
Okay.
So if anybody has any questions, feel free to stop Bill. For those of you probably know this, but just in case, Bill has his roots in IT. So he's widened his product portfolio over the years, obviously to include voice and so on. But again, this particular presentation is going to be strictly on his managed services sales process and the success he's had over the years. So go ahead, Bill.
Okay, good afternoon, fellow tag team members, and I appreciate the opportunity to share with you guys the MSP process here at AbleTech. I'm going to start by, let's see if my mouse will work here, and Brian, I'm not sure I have control.
There you go, you just changed it.
Oh, okay, good. managed service, just kind of a preemptor, we've been providing managed services in one form or another for about the last 7 or 8 years plus. We saw a need for that many years ago, and with our base customers, we focused on getting away from break fix into a proactive managed business model, and we've been what we feel is very successful at it. Our revenue so far, or currently, we generate about 55% of our monthly revenue from managed services of one form or another, and right now that revenue is just a little over $60,000 a month. And that's spread across about 25 to 27 customers that we have, some of whom we've had for 15 years or more. And from a sales standpoint, we do focus a lot of our attention on selling managed services. In fact, it's one of the key presentations that we give to pretty much every customer opportunity that we have. We focus a lot of that on our existing base, of which is several hundred customers of a variety of sizes. Most all of the larger ones we already have under some form of managed services. So our opportunities come from our existing IT and voice base, and also from referral partners, customer referrals, networking, and targeted marketing. Those are where we find our new opportunities. And of course, we focus on what are our managed service products. See if this, I've still got control here. Right, I think I do, but I just clicked and it didn't. Okay. Who is our ideal managed service customer? Is any company who does not have or is looking to, of course, outsource their internal IT staff. Also, we have some customers that we provide some level of managed services to that does have an internal IT staff, but they want to focus more of their time on project work and larger, or more important and larger contributory tasks and projects with the customer. So for things such as monitoring, antivirus, tier 1 help desk support, disaster recovery, those types of solutions we also provide to some customers that have their own internal IT staff, whether it's one person or multiple. Every company that's out there in the world today, as we all know, is IT is an important component of that customer's business, and most all of them, of usually 5 users or more, tend to have servers complementing their network. And from an ideal MSP customer, and also existing customers, that base that we continue to mine. At AbleTech, we have labeled our MSP offering, we call it OneCare. And we have 3 basic plans or levels of OneCare. The first one is OneCare Lite, which includes patch updates, monitoring, managed antivirus, offsite backup, and then we complement that with block hours that the customer can buy, that they can consume over a 6 to 12 month period. We typically suggest that they purchase enough block hours to last them about a quarter. And we do offer those block hours in starting at about 10 block hours and then progressing on up to 80, 90, 100 block hours, depending on the size of the customer and their needs. What we found is we've got a fair amount of customers that as an entry level, they choose the OneCare Lite because they still may not have a warm and fuzzy that the price we charge for standard or plus, which I'll describe next, they tend to think that they may be paying for services or time that they may not necessarily use or that we may not provide. So we found that for new customers and entry level, OneCare Lite gives them a way to get the basic services and then purchase hours that are consumed over time. Our OneCare Standard and Plus packages the differentiator between them is the OneCare Standard has unlimited remote support during business hours. On-site work, after hours, project work, those are charged at a reduced hourly rate or at a project price, depending on the project that they present to us. The Plus OneCare package is 24/7, 365, all they can eat remote and on site. So, we give them the 3 different levels to choose from. Now, the backup and disaster recovery solutions that we offer on a managed basis are Datto, Mozy, and VMware solutions such as Veeam, or failover virtual servers. So we can offer them a disaster recovery solution that is one of those 3 flavors, depending on what their need is. The Mozy tends to be those smaller companies that they're more concerned about data backup rather than disaster recovery of a failed server. And those tend to be the smaller ones that don't feel they can justify paying for it.
Hey, Bill? Bill, it's a little staticky. It's hard to hear you, actually.
I can't hear him at all.
Who is that now?
This is Manny. I can't hear anybody, or I can't hear Bill at all.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I know Brent lost voice as well.
Well, I can hear, Brian, I can hear you and the other guy clear.
Yeah, I can hear you and Manny and Brian.
You're not
I can
getting
hear all of
static?
you as well.
Okay, Bill?
Yes.
Maybe, you know what, Bill? It might be on your end. You mind dialing back in? I think it's probably Bill.
Yep.
Brent, are you still there?
Yeah, I can hear everybody except Bill.
Okay, yeah, it must have been isolated to Bill. Sorry about that, guys. But, well, hey, Tommy, thanks for coming on. Andy, I think you're on board as well?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. And then Brian Murphy, did you make it on?
I am.
All right, excellent. So we got a full crew. Awesome. Well, we'll just wait for Bill to jump back on. Again, if you have any questions, just write them down. We'll ask Bill some questions at the end here. So hopefully he'll be able to join us while we're doing that. You know what? While we wait for Bill, actually, take a touch of a break here. Dave, why don't you? We sent out this email. It's time to have TAG develop your 2014 budget. Dave, you want to mention something real brief to everybody on the phone, because we'd like to have all of you take advantage of Dave and his team's ability to prepare the 2014 budget and then adjust it on a quarterly basis for you. So, Dave, you want to go ahead and talk about that while we're waiting for Bill?
Yeah, you bet. Hi, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. I think as the email or what we sent out to you guys, pretty self-explanatory. We did this for consistently with about 20 companies last year, and we were able to adjust on the fly, make a lot of changes instead of waiting after the fact. So it's pretty critical, and I strongly believe in the budgeting process because it helps us develop the roadmap, keeps us on track, and then looking at it, be more than happy to do it monthly, but I think quarterly is just as good because monthly there's so many variations on new installs. But it's something that we're more than happy to do for you. Once we set it up, we'll do the input for you and get it going. So, and then be able to meet with you on a quarterly basis on it. So if you want to do it, strongly recommend that you take advantage of it. And if you have October instead of year-to-date September, and you have year-to-date October numbers, that would be great too. So if you just send me P&L, your current org chart, and their current, salary or pay, we're able to develop the budget, put it into the tag metrics. I'll walk it through with everybody, understand where you're at, what we need to do to get there, because not everyone's going to be at the tag metrics, of course, but at least we understand where we're at and what we need to do to get there. So take advantage of it. Just send me the email, and then I'll set up times with you and get that going. We got about 15 companies have already sent in their stuff, so we're just working through it, but we can flip them around pretty quickly and get these done and up and running by mid-December, so you're hitting Jan 1 running and ready to go.
Perfect.
You
So
guys any
please
questions or comments?
Okay, perfect. Please take advantage of it. After Dave puts together the budget with you, he'll do a one-on-one review and consultation with you. So it's a great tool, great a great service that his team can provide. So Bill, are you back on board with us?
I'm back on board. Can you hear me okay?
Okay, perfect. Okay, let me flip back over to you, and we'll let you get back on track.
Okay. Let's see. If we could back up a slide, I think there were a number of people that couldn't hear me. Can everybody hear me okay now?
Yes.
Good. I'll pick back up at our MSP offerings. We call our managed service product offering OneCare. And we have three versions, OneCare Lite, as you can see, which includes patch updates, monitoring, AV, backup, and block hours for services that aren't included, which would be any tier 1 support or better. We offer OneCare Standard and Plus, which includes all of the services in OneCare Lite, but includes unlimited remote support on the standard level during business hours, and then has reduced hourly rate charges for after hours or on-site work. And then the Plus level of OneCare is 24/7, 365 remote and on-site remediation and support. And of course, project work is excluded from both. From a backup and disaster recovery solution, we offer Datto, Mozy, and VMware solutions such as Veeam, which is a backup and disaster recovery solution that works with VMware. And we've got about 8 or 9 Datto units out now. Most all of our managed service customers are using Mozy, and probably 70 to 80% of our managed service customers we've migrated to a virtualized VMware environment. See if I can get the next slide here. Continuing, we also offer hosted solutions, basically 3 flavors: hosting of our clients' hardware and software in co-location facilities. We also offer PaaS and SaaS, hardware as a service and software as a service, where we actually provide the entire hosted environment with the base software such as Microsoft Office. We could do QuickBooks and some other software packages as well that we actually just rent to them on a monthly basis for a term. Usually those terms start out at a minimum of 1 year and go as high as up to 5 years. We also offer hosted voice solutions using the Zoltus platform. We have several clients at their Zoltus devices and colo facilities, and then their offices all have remote phones and or Mixi. Other one-off products that we also offer is managed services, Wi-Fi offerings, audio, video, and conferencing solutions, and of course project work. And finally, another managed service product that we offer is CTAP for voice, and we've not had any success, if you will, on offering CTAPs for data. Although we have included some Wi-Fi offerings in a couple of the CTAP plans we've offered, and also have phone systems, particularly for healthcare, dental offices, and doctors' offices that using the Zolta solution, but we also manage their Wi-Fi from the standpoint of using a solution from a company called Miru that allows us to have a single controller that can be located at the customer's office or in a colo that manages all of the Wi-Fi access points at their multiple locations from one place. So again, it's about what bag of services can we offer to that customer to meet many, if not all, of their technology needs from the voice and data and communication standpoint. Next slide here would be our sales process. Of course, we spoil our customers. It's about that customer experience and that relationship. We talk to everybody we can about our managed service offerings. We follow the tag sales process, not always exactly, but it is the basis for how we approach presenting managed services solutions to our customers and potential customers. We offer technology assessments. Some of these we do that we assess a charge for. Others we offer the customer a technology assessment at a fee, but if they sign up with us for a managed service solution, we will credit that charge for the site assessment back to them.
Real quick, if everybody could just mute your phones, we're getting some feedback from somebody wrestling around paper and stuff. If you could just mute your phones for us, thank you. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, and we offer free connectivity audits to help get our foot in the door, because we can go to a customer and it's very easy to get them to give us copies of their connectivity bills for voice and internet, because they have nothing to lose and they have money to gain. We found historically that in probably 80% of the connectivity audits we do, we're able to save the customer anywhere between 25 and 50% of what they've been paying just by getting rid of services they don't need or taking advantage of the competitiveness in the marketplace for connectivity. One of our biggest partners on the connectivity side is Comcast, who offers broadband internet service. They do offer some voice in the analog and PRI, but the costs are priced to the customer for Comcast services we found to be extremely competitive, and we've been able to save customers quite a bit of money that they can then turn around and spend on managed services through us or through upgrading of equipment and technology resources. See if I can get the next slide here. Brian, am I advancing, or are you able to do that for me?
Yeah, no, you're advancing. You're good. You're on marketing now.
From a marketing standpoint, we have embraced, of course, social media. Vocus is an interesting company we've partnered with. We do press releases through Vocus, and for a fee, I think we pay about $3,500 per year, and we're able to publish and release multiple press releases, do focused email marketing, and they have a group of thousands of periodicals, internet-based newsletters, printed media, that once we prepare a press release, they then distribute that out to these thousands of publications, whether they're internet or printed. And what we found is it does several things for us. Number one, it helps us improve our rankings on search engines, on search engine optimization. But it also, we've seen just in the last 6 months that we've been using Vocus, we've had probably 5 or 6 of the press releases that we put out show up in industry publications and periodicals that we recognize that are in our industry. Of course, we use Facebook, Twitter, and Atomic 8 Ball plays a big part in our Facebook and Twitter social marketing, because they post a lot to our Twitter and Facebook pages for our company. In addition, we also spend time each week maintaining our Facebook and Twitter and posting information that our customers can use, whether it's opinions about new products or techniques or tips on how to improve their productivity, maximize their use of their software resources. We talk about mobility. So those, from a social marketing standpoint, I can't impress enough how important it is to embrace these and use them in your everyday marketing efforts. Of course, customer referrals and word of mouth. We've done some lunch and learns, roundtables, and multi-vendor events. I'll have to tell you that the biggest success we've had so far has been with multi-vendor events. We had a multi-vendor event at one of the major co-location facilities in Houston, or west of Houston, and we had ourselves, we had Comcast, we had Zoltus, we had Miru on the Wi-Fi side, and then the co-location facility themselves. And we brought customers in for an afternoon of a couple of hours, and we fed them, and then each one of those vendors did a short presentation of their solutions and their companies as it pertains to more of mobility. From the standpoint of remote working, hosting of server assets, and we had a very good turnout. And of the 7 or 8 lunch and learn roundtable multi-vendor events that we've done in the past year and a half, that one event was produced more for us than the others put together. Now, that could be because we're not doing them as well as we could, but we followed some tried and true processes for setting up lunch and learns and roundtables. And maybe it's our area here in Houston because we're so spread out and our customer base is so spread out. We've just not had the participation that we would have liked to have had. So I can tell you I'm interested in hearing from any of the Endeavor team members on what your experiences have been with lunch and learns and roundtables. I realize also that some of your areas, geographical areas, may be smaller, and it may be a little easier to get a dozen customers because they don't have to drive as far or for whatever reason. So I would be interested in some feedback there. The other thing is leveraging tagged advertising campaigns that are available on their website. So you need to take that multi-pronged approach to marketing to generate that brand recognition and the reputation of your company out there to the customer base that you service. If we get the next slide here. Again, as I mentioned earlier, our monthly recurring revenue is now $60,000 plus per month. I can tell you a year ago that number was around 45. So we've made some significant improvements, we feel, in that number. And it's at about right now with 55%, maybe closer to 60, between 55 and 60% of our average monthly revenue is through recurring revenues from managed services. Our growth is determined, of course, by our ability to absorb new customers, and we're doing that in a couple of ways. We have our own NOC and our own engineering staff, but we are beginning to augment that with third-party MSP services, and one of the partners we've chosen to align ourselves with is the company called TD Arcs, which is Mike Shuping up in the Carolinas, and they provide the managed service support for level platforms. It is a U.S.-based NOC, which is one of our requirements, and we've just now started a relationship with them over the past 2 months. And in fact, we've got one of our major customers that has a location in Canada and one in Houston with about 60 employees. We're in the process now of designing a hosted solution using using virtualized servers at our colo here in Houston, and we're going to be using PDRs to do the tier 1 support, tier 1, 2, and 3, and monitoring and management of this customer's network. So this will be one of our first projects and customers where we use a third-party MSP to provide that maintenance management support. We've also found that new customers tend to use a lot of resources for the first 2 or 3 months, and then they level off. And we've seen that time after time. Once we get into their network, start managing their network, and solve the problems, and make sure that all of their patch updates are in, that they're current on their hardware and their software, and go through some education with their users. What we found is that the level of time that we spend and the resources is literally cut in half after 2 to 3 months. And then it's just an ongoing maintenance and replacement of aging equipment, upgrades of software, and project work for expansions and increases in staff. Get to the next slide here. What are some of the challenges that we have in increasing our managed service sales? Is, of course, commission structure to our salespeople, our operations capacity to absorb new customers and networks, and again, one of our approaches to that is to partner with one of the third-party providers of managed services to give us that additional capacity and ability to expand and take on new customers quickly. We continue emphasizing a formalized sales process, and I'll show you one of the tools that we use for that here in just a few moments. And of course, it's always a struggle to maintain the needed certifications and appropriate resources. I can tell you that from a time standpoint for your managed service staff and your engineers, we have experienced and come to predict and expect that about 20%, 15 to 20% of our engineers' time is going to be spent in continuing education and renewal and update of certifications and getting new certifications, particularly as we bring on new technologies and as the existing technology solutions we use continue to advance and be updated and upgraded. So, when it comes down to calculating how much of tech's time you've actually got to do managed services to your customers, you need to figure about 20% of their time is not going to be available because they need to have that continuing education and certifications. And we spend quite a bit of money and time because you have to. If you want to be an expert in those core fields, you have to have those certified engineers, or you have to have a third-party source that can provide those skill sets to you. Our proposal and managed service agreement consists of several documents. We have created a master service agreement which defines the business relationship between us and our client partner. There is no pricing, there's no charges. It's more just the terms and conditions that define the business relationship between us and a customer. Our service level agreement is, of course, a 2-page document that lays out what our tier support levels are, what our response times are, what the customer can expect in terms of us handling and resolving different problems or issues that come about on their network. We deal with specific services that we offer by appendices, attachments to the MSA. And right now we currently have six or seven different appendices. One appendix would be for the OneCare Lite solution. We have an appendix for OneCare Standard and Plus. Those are both in one appendix. We have an appendix for hosted voice solutions, for partner plans, for voice systems. We have an appendix for hosted solutions. Hosted solutions where we provide the hardware and the software. We also have an appendix for hosted solutions where the customer owns the hardware and the software, and we're merely providing a hosting location and managing their equipment and their resources. All of our agreements have a 12-month minimum term, and we'll go as high as 3 to 5 years if we can get the customer to agree to that. Let's see here. At this point, before I go on to the next presentation, any questions?
Yeah. Hi, Bill. This is Manny. How you doing?
Hey, Manny, I'm doing well.
Great. One question: will you take on a client and maybe just do the voice under a managed service agreement, or just the data, or do you go in and you have to do the whole thing?
No, we'll take on any piece of it. We've got customers where we do their voice, but we don't do their IT. We've got some we do their IT, we don't do their voice. We have some that we do all of it. Our objective, of course, is once we get a customer in any one of our managed service solutions, then as we build that relationship and build a comfort feeling with that customer, we're surely going to go after any other technology support opportunities that exist with that customer, whether it's Wi-Fi, data, audio, visual. In some cases, it's just the lead-in to get us into the relationship and build that trust and comfort level with the customer.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay.
Hey, Bill, I have a question.
Yes.
Going back to the MSP offering page, I just went to it right now, the OneCare Lite, the Standard, and the Plus. 2 questions. First is, just curious, the percentage breakdown of your customers into those 3. And then when you present, do you always present the 3, or do you do your analysis and then kind of pick which one's going to be the right fit and just present that one?
Well, the answer to the first question is we typically, once we spend the time with the customer understanding what their needs, their expectations, what their budget is, what services they may have already been receiving from either 2 guys in a truck or some other provider. And then we, just based on the feeling that we get from that customer for what they're looking for, that will help us determine what we come out the door with. Now, and basically that's between OneCare Lite and the OneCare Standard and Plus. When we're talking about OneCare Standard and Plus, we typically present that is to them to where they have 2 choices there. Which one do you want, customer? Do you want business hours only with pay for support after that, or do you want 24/7? And what we find is a lot of times it's dependent on that customer's business model. Some customers have 24-hour operations, or they have a lot of people that work remotely or work after hours. They tend to be more the ones that are going to go for the Plus. And of course, as you might expect, those customers that don't have a lot of remote workers or work or have offices that are open on Saturdays or after hours, they tend to lean more toward the Standard.
Got it. Okay, good. Other questions for Bill?
Okay, I think we can move on to the second PowerPoint, and I'll breeze through that one.
Bill, if you could just skim through this real quick, because I know we're coming on 40 minutes here, so maybe if you could skim it, and then what we could do is also send this out to everybody.
Oh, yes. So
okay.
This is a presentation that we often present to our customers about the services that we offer. If I can get it to expand, go to the next screen here. First, of course, we're educating them a little bit about who we are and what we provide. Our mission statement, of course, is the first slide. Get down to the next slide here. You know, our commitment to, you know, to how we treat the customer and how we approach the relationship. The next slide, if I can get to that. I think it takes a minute for my click to be recognized. Brian, you may have to help me here, because it doesn't appear to be.
There we go.
Okay. You know, we share with them our objectives, which all follow the three basic objectives that TAG preaches and has taught us to improve their productivity, their profitability, and their competitive advantage in the marketplace. Then we, you know, have this slide that just shows what our core services are, from implementation support and value-added services, just to give them a quick list of the different benefits that we bring to the relationship and the services we provide. And then, of course, I think most of you have seen this as part of the TAG sales training, but we also present this to our customer as just a quick and easy way to see what our managed service and the different services and areas that we protect and manage for them.
Yeah, you know, I love this PowerPoint. We have other TAG members like Dave Hyman at CTS. He utilizes the same diagram as well.
Hey, you know, sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel.
That's right.
If I can get the next slide here. And then we talk about, you know, some of the various aspects of what we bring to the table. Network assessments, which we promote and are pretty successful at getting just about every new customer, potential customer that we bring on board. Network assessments are critical so that you know the state of their current network, their age of their hardware, what software they're running, what types of problems they're having, because before you can go in and manage their network, you'd be surprised what you find. And the customer is often surprised at what you present to them as just how out of best practices their network actually is. We probably find less than 10 to 15% of the networks that we assess are within, you know, fall within best practices, and the rest of them are in dire need of upgrade, support, and some love and attention. Now, we use a couple of solutions or tools. One of them is Continuum, has a network assessment tool that's put out by RapidFire, and we like that, and it works very well. It's quick. We can do it remotely, or we can go out to the customer site. But there is one downside to the Continuum network assessment tool, and that's that it only gathers information that is in Active Directory for a network. It may go out and find other devices, but it won't tell you anything about those devices or what they are. It gets the lion's share of all of its information from the Active Directory files and Active Directory of their network. So we always augment our network assessments with an on-site, eyes-on view of a customer's network to assess cabling, router switches, and get some feel for what types of problems and pains that the general users have. Let me move on to the next one here. Well, I might also point out Level Platforms is our monitoring and patch update solution that we employ, and we also have the ability to put a Level Platforms, a small workstation, out on a customer's site and deploy Level Platforms and leave it out there for a week, and it will also gather quite a bit of information about their network. But that's usually a secondary approach for us. From a network monitoring standpoint, we present to our customers what we're able to provide in network monitoring and periodic reports. Some customers we do monthly, some customers we do quarterly, and we are in the process of upgrading and simplifying the automated solutions that we offer. We present to the customer that we can provide everything from the hardware to the software, or we can manage their solutions in a cloud environment, all the way down to their remote users. Wi-Fi solutions, again, we've partnered with Miru and have been quite pleased and are excited about the solutions they bring to the marketplace. They have some differentiators in their product that we think are pretty cool. In fact, I'm getting tagged to talk with Miru about the potential of Miru becoming one of the strategic partners with TAG. We'll see where that goes. Video conferencing, we've made some inroads there and can provide those types of solutions to our customers as well. Get to the next slide. Unified Communications, of course, Zoltus is our flagship. And it's been a big seller for us, and we're real excited about continuing to grow with what we do with Zoltus. In fact, we are one of their beta testers for their new MX Virtual platform that runs on a VMware virtualized environment. And we're real excited about testing that. We see that may give us the ability to actually do a higher level of hosting of voice solutions for our customer, to where we provide everything that's not their MX250 or their Zoltus equipment that we manage in a colo, but we provide the entire solution. And we see that as a big opportunity for us. And as far as Unified Communications, we do Panasonic, Freedom Voice, and Zoltus. Pre-connectivity audits, again, as I mentioned before, excellent way to get your foot in the door because the customer has nothing to lose by having you do that. It doesn't cost them a dime for us to do a connectivity audit for them. And it almost always leads to some sale or the start of a good business relationship with that customer. Disaster recovery. Of course, we're in Hurricane Alley, but disasters come from all different types of causes. And one of the things that we're working on now is being able to provide the customer with a cost of downtime through a couple of models that we've come across that we're evaluating now, that we can go into a customer and actually help them calculate what does it cost them to be down for an hour, a day, a week. And you'd be surprised, and customers are too, as to what those costs actually turn out to be. Let's see here, the next slide. This is again on disaster recovery. And then, of course, the last slide we have is just to share with our customers some of the partners that we deal with and their names that they recognize. So basically, the last slide of this is just for questions. This usually takes us about, 15, 20 minutes to go through with the customer. But I can tell you we do that usually in the second half of a meeting, because our first half of that meeting with the customer is to learn about them and to focus on their needs and their pains and starting to develop that relationship. So this is the sales presentation that we use to introduce our customers and potential customers to the managed service offerings that we bring to the table.
Excellent. Any questions for Bill?
Yeah, one last question, Bill. Your MOR from 45 to 60 is really impressive. I'm assuming that's the gross. Is your net? Are you keeping pretty good track on what your net increases have been over the past year, and factoring in your IT certifications and just all the costs associated with generating that kind of monthly revenue?
Yes, we do. We use TigerPaw, but I also have over the years developed some costing and analysis models that are probably more detailed and a little deeper than what TAG might suggest and what TAG has suggested. But we watch that very closely. We've learned to, over the last few years particularly, we've taken a lot more stringent approach to pricing, understanding our costs, and also looking back at history. Now, I use a variety of tools, one of them being Microsoft Access and Crystal Reports, to go into the SQL back end of our TigerPaw and generate customer reports, do analysis. At least twice a year, I'll go and pull all of the time logs and third-party service costs for each of our managed service customers, and I'm able to go back and do a pretty quick analysis that's about 90% plus accurate on just what have our true cost and the true time that we have put into that particular customer, and how does that relate to the charges, the managed service pricing that we give to them. So we've made a lot of headway in the last 2 years, particularly in getting control and understanding which managed service customers are profitable, which ones aren't, and why. And we've been able to win and get increases to where I can tell you that we pull anywhere from 15 to probably 27 to 30 points to the bottom line on all of our managed service clients.
Yeah, and that's consistent with Tag, Bill, and we're able to, if you're on TigerPaw, we have the technician productivity reports, and we're able to track it by customer, look at it in total, and you're exactly right, Bill. That $60,000, on average, the Tag members drop anywhere from 30 to 35 points to the bottom line on those customers, because once Bill talked about those first few months, you're going to spend a little extra time and probably be kicking yourself on what's going on. But after that, the labor needed to support, and then you have the outsourcing part, it just drops to the bottom line, and it's a significant way to get up on the Tag, like Dave Hyman's getting 30 points overall. You got to have that recurring revenue because it does drop to the bottom line. So absolutely, Bill, you're spot on with what you're doing and how you're tracking it. And if any of you that have TigerPaw or that have hours and you're tracking it, get with me and we'll figure out ways to track it and then be able to look at your financials that way to really see the significant impact that will have to your bottom line.
And one other point I'll make is we've even gotten to the point to when we look at new customers for our managed services, we go back and have a 12-month rolling average of all of our managed service customers and how much time we spend in specific areas: server maintenance, workstation, help desk, managing their email, their Exchange servers. We break down our time logs into the core services that make up our OneCare offering to our customers, and then we go back and look at our actual performance in those areas, and we use those as a basis starting point for what should we start out with on pricing for onboarding a new managed service customer.
Excellent. Other questions? Would anyone like either PowerPoint?
Yeah, this is Manny.
Yeah, both, please.
Okay, perfect. I'll send out both PowerPoints. Bill, excellent job. Thank you so much for all the preparation that went into presenting today. Obviously, these conference calls that's the goal, is to gain insight from each other and to share information on what we're doing and how we can help each other. So that's fantastic. A couple other quick things before we go. We don't have time to talk about StarCom. Maybe we could do that on the next call. We have Dave talked about the 2014 budget. We're going to have a couple of brand new webinars come out. One is on door knocking. We've implemented a door knocking program at VoiceSmart. We have 5 salespeople on the street right now. We're going to go up to 7 in January. But obviously, as we all know, prospecting, there's a multitude of ways to prospect. We've had very good success over the last several months on door knocking. We put that door knocking program together on what the script looks like, the follow-up emails look like, and things of that nature. And we're having some fantastic results of zeroing in and getting to the right people and developing opportunities. We're actually, right now, one of our guys up in Irvine just recently door knocked on a 150-employee company, 3 IT people. The owner essentially can't stand his IT staff, can't wait to fire him. We've already developed, we're doing the monitoring of 14 servers right now where our cost is $40, as you know, through Continuum. We're charging that customer $200 per server. Monitoring that right now, that's a quick fix because they have some issues. Long term, it's going to turn out to be within, hopefully by Christmas, we'll be generating $16,000 a month in recurring revenue from that one particular customer. And then obviously we've got the opportunity to do the phone system after we wrap that up. But that was from a door knock. So we're going to be launching that here shortly. Also, the other thing that we've implemented at VoiceSmart is, and it's a different twist on a lunch and learn, it's called an executive technology briefing. We're going to talk to you about how we developed the strategy and the program and the PowerPoint and the tools. Our presentation on that is, the title of that presentation is called Making the Cloud Less Cloudy, What Your IT People Won't Tell You. And we've had some very good success having essentially, AKA Lunch and Learn being the executive technology briefing and generating recurring revenue from our managed services business. And we'll talk to you about the strategy of what the email looks like, how we go about inviting people, what the presentation looks like, and what the follow-up looks like. So we're going to be launching that within the next 30 to 45 days as well. Also, the Endeavor meeting, the next Endeavor Live meeting, we put together the first 6 months of our event calendar. So feel free to take a look at what we've got planned for the first 6 months. In March, we will have the live meeting for Endeavor. And so March 20th and 21st, your first live meeting in Q1 will occur on the 20th and 21st in Dallas. So we'll send out calendar invites and all that good stuff so you can put that on your calendar, but that's what we're going to be striving towards. So last but not least, what we'd like to do is go back to December. We have the ability to do a webinar, our next conference call. We could do it prior to the holidays, or we could do it the second week of January. We could do it on the 16th if everyone has availability on the 16th. We'd also like to pick somebody from this particular call before we get off to give us a presentation. Again, it can be anywhere from 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes on a strength in your company that you'd like to share, as we all share the responsibility of making this type of presentation to our groups. So with that,
Brian, that's next year.
Oh, I got 2014. I'm sorry about that. Thank you. Let me go back to 2013. So with that, before we leave today, unless I have volunteers, we're going to pick a company randomly. So who would like to give us a presentation, 15, 20 minutes or so, on a strength of your business? For example, this afternoon on the Voyager team, Keith Stute is going to be presenting on an above-the-line prospecting methodology that he uses to generate business to his company. So it could be on any particular topic. Do I have any takers? Okay. Let's call Ian. Are you out there? Ian, he logged off already. All right. Let's see. Manny, what about yourself?
Yeah, that would be fine. Although, not to put Bill on the spot, but I'd love to see some of his reports and how he does some of the costs associated with his monthly recurring revenue. I'm just kind of really getting involved in that and really taking my company to where that's one of our focuses. But I don't really have a true handle on tracking the costs.
Manny, I'll tell you what, I would be more than happy to do that, although with the 15 to 20 minutes, it doesn't always lend itself to Manny, you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. If you want to get a hold of me outside of this, I'll be more than happy to share with you and spend some time with you. We can get on a presentation like this through one of our tools that I can show you what I do and how I do it.
Sure, that'd be great. I'd love that. Thanks, Bill.
So if you want to just reach out to me outside of this, and we could set a time in the next week or two, or, you know, in the near future that we can do that. And I'll be glad to share it with. I mean, I'm more than willing to share with anybody in the group, the tools that we use to measure our profitability and to go back and look at actual performance and compare that against what we projected it would be.
Yeah, and Manny, I sent you an email this morning. We still need to get together, and I can walk you through kind of our tracking as well, and you can get two inputs on that.
Great. Okay. Perfect.
Excellent. Okay, so why don't we do same time, same place on December 17th, Tuesday, December 17th. We'll send that out to everybody. And Manny, you and I can work together to pick something that you'd like to present, and we'll do all the heavy lifting for you. We'll put the PowerPoint together and all that good stuff.
That's good. Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and everybody have a great week. And if there's anything you need from us, please don't hesitate to give us a call. Again, Bill, thanks for your time, and I appreciate the work that went into it.
Oh, my pleasure, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody if we don't talk before then.
Great.
Yep, you too, Bill.
Everybody.
Thanks, Bill. You too.
All right.
Bye, everyone.